Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. Before we get started, let me just remind you, if you have tickets for this event, please hand them in so Gen Con knows what you've been watching. If you don't have tickets, please get tickets and then hand them in, because then we'll do more of such things in the future if Gen Con sees that people are watching such things. So, hi, I am joined today by Rob Ford and Bubby Johansson and Ryan Garcia, who is hiding above the actual game that is being featured, Aliens Bug Hunts from Upper Deck Entertainment. So, hi, thanks all three of you for joining.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, similar to you guys, we've been doing a Gen Con online through Upper Deck for the past 3 days. This is day number 4 from 9 to 5 Pacific time because we're out in California. So we've been showing off our games, interacting with the community. It's been really fun. We all missed Gen Con this year, but being able to see some of our people in our chat rooms showing off our games, just having some fun. It's been okay.
Yeah, it's interesting just having to adapt to new formats and new ways of reaching out to people, such as we are doing here, where we had sort of the last minute things come together so that we can look at Aliens Bug Hunt, which I don't know, is it out already? I believe it's just hitting the market.
Not yet. So this is kind of like the first look that you guys have seen this weekend for this game. It doesn't come out till September. Fingers crossed everything works out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of showing it off. We had the game designer Ryan Miller on the first 3 days playing with us through the game. A lot of fun, a lot of tension in there as well. So kind of wanted to show it to you guys as well, to show it to Gen Con, to see what's coming out in a couple of months.
So I know it's a 1 to 4 player cooperative game.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob, do you want to kind of get into it a little bit?
Yeah, it's a fully co-op game for 1 to 4 players. And the whole theme of it is you're leading a squad of Marines, Colonial Marines, into the complex on LV 426, I think. And your mission is to go in and complete the 3 mission cards by finding objective tokens hidden in the complex and get out safely without the xenomorphs getting you. So every player will lead a squad. The uniqueness of this game is it's a fun game, it's a fast game, it's a very relatively simple game, but Ryan, the designer, wanted to do something a little different with the rules to free up that poor guy who always seems to have to learn the rules first and teach everybody else. So he had this unique idea to break the rules into 4 separate pieces, 4 roles. So theoretically, if you had a 4-player game, 1 player would play each role, and they would be responsible for learning the rules in that dossier, is what we're calling them. And then he would also, that player would also be responsible for some of the in-game play. So right from the beginning of opening the box, every player is supposed to be engaged and has a responsibility, and it reinforces the cooperative aspect of the game.
Okay.
Hopefully it gets you running within minutes.
Right. Fewer players, you have to take on double roles, things like that.
Right.
But ideally, you have 4. And
there's you'll open the box and there'll be a little breadcrumb on top, which is actually the one thing missing from this copy. So can't show you that. But and it will say, "Welcome." Like Lieutenant Gorman will say something to you in the mission memo, and it'll tell you what to do next. So it's like one breadcrumb leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and then the dossiers will be handed out, and everybody will learn their roles and take turns teaching the other players how to move. One player will be like, "I'm going to teach you how to move, and I'm going to teach you what actions you can do." And another guy is going to say, "Well, this is how you fight the xenomorphs." And another guy is going to have the role of controlling the xenomorphs. And then there's the 4th role, I think, is mostly a setup role. No, the 4th role is actually the guy who would run the phasing deck. Now, the phasing deck is actually another little twist in this game, because every squad has a color and 3 phasing decks, and you shuffle all the colors of the squads playing into the phasing deck, but you never know who's going to get the next turn.
Every round could be different of who goes what turn, because you have your cards for each squad, and then you also have the cards of the aliens for their turn. The game is automated in that way for the bad guys. And so every time you go through the deck, you reshuffle it, you add some more cards in, and then you go again. So every round is a little bit different. Every strategy you have to select is a little bit different based upon who goes. So it's always mixing it up, keeping you on your toes.
And it adds to the suspense of the game because you might put yourself a little bit in harm's way, but you think you're okay. And then the Xenomorph phase card will come up like bang, bang. And now you're not okay anymore, but you didn't see it coming.
Okay. Do you want to run us through sample turn or first round? Whatever would be appropriate in terms of demonstrating gameplay?
I'm ready.
Yeah, one thing to note that we have our squads kind of picked out. So I'm Drake. Who are you, Rob?
I am Frost. So each squad will have at least one character. There's a couple of characters, Bubby will have one of them in this game that would work, main characters that work on the same squad. But usually a squad has one main and two just grunts.
Okay.
So I have Bishop as well on my squad as well. So he helps find the missions a little bit better. Not so great at combat, but that's kind of thematic to the film as well. So
so the main guys have a special ability, and the grunts don't. Being grunts.
Okay.
So there's how many different characters are in the game, Rob?
So all of the
9?
So I think there's 9, but it's all of the Colonial Marines from the Aliens movie, plus Ripley and Bishop. So I think that's 9.
Ish.
Okay.
Ish. Don't quote me. I might be off.
9 is correct.
That is correct. Hooray. I know stuff.
10. Excuse me.
No, I don't know stuff.
Yep. That's right. It is day 4.
Let's get that phase card out and let's show you guys how it works.
Actually, to start the game, we actually start with this up here.
Yeah, so there's the board that's on the table now is where we begin. That's the outside of Hadley's Hope on LV 426. And on the left of it, you'll see a track. It's the Hive track. And every time you see one of those little circular icons with the silhouette, that will trigger the Xenomorph phase. And we are on 1, so we immediately have to trigger that Xenomorph phase now. Attack and movement only happen when there's Xenomorphs already in the complex, which obviously in the beginning of the game there's not. So we'll jump straight to step 3 of that, which is spawn. And then you turn over what is called the tracking card. And it's supposed to look like the scanners that they used. And it tells us, those little white dots tell us where the Xenomorph, which are represented by dice, are actually going to be placed to begin the game. So Ryan, to just for its better visual, can you set the dice so it shows one of the icons on so that we can see them, so they're not just black and kind of into the shadows? That's good. Now to combat, when we do combat, we will actually physically pick up those dice and roll when we actually engage them. But we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So it would be the red squad's turn first, which is me. And now each player's turn is broken into 2 basic parts. First you move, then you take 1 of 4 actions. If you ever move into an empty complex space, your movement ends, but you do have 3 movement points to expend. It takes 1 movement point to move into a new tile, and an extra movement point if you have to cross a barrier, which hopefully we'll get on our first tile. So I'm going to move. We all start in Sector 3 entrance on the APC board, and I'm going to move, and we can only enter and exit the complex from there. I'm going to move into that first square, that first tile, that's a location tile. And now my move has to stop. And since there is that same icon that's on the next to the Hive track, that's called a Hive. That means you immediately put whatever number that says of Xenomorphs in that tile with me. And then if you notice at the top of that tile, it also has a barrier. And that would cost, you can move through barriers, but you can't fire through them, but that costs an extra movement point. So my movement ends, and now I get to pick 1 of 4 actions. My 4 actions are shoot, capture an objective, breach a barrier, like blow a hole in it so we can move through it more easily and fire, or reload my depleted Marines. So I am going to take my action and just shoot. So I will deplete one of my grunts. Generally, the rightmost grunt takes most of the wounds, so I'm going to risk the center one this time. So you would just pull him down like that and reveal the depleted above him. And that means he can't fire again until you take a reload action.
Okay.
And he has on his card an icon, 2 icons. One, they're pretty self-explanatory. There's bullets, firepower, and an armor. That's their health, and that's how many wounds they can take. So I can physically pick up 2 dice and roll them. I only need to roll 1. Extra firepower is wasted. And then you would roll it, and if it was a black, boo. If it came up black with no icon in it at all, the xenomorph dies. If it comes up white, the xenomorph lives. And if it comes up red, the xenomorph lives and attack you if it's in your tile.
Okay.
And hit you for a wound. So in this case, I shot and missed. Boo.
So we've been playing this game this way over the past 4 days, and Ryan's always been the guy that has to roll the dice. And so he's getting a lot of flack from all of us.
For rolling poorly.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how we're excited. What's the breakdown on the die face?
There's
many white,
there's
red?
one red face, 1 white face, and 4 black faces. So there's a very good chance you'll kill them.
Generally.
Only a 1 in 3 chance they survive. Generally.
Okay.
Theoretically, that's how it's supposed to go.
All right. So that's it for the red squad.
That's it for my squad. That's a real fast, simple turn, right?
All right, Drake gets to go. All right, so I'm going to go into the tile that he's in for Sector 3. And now since there's 2 people in there, I can move. If it was just me, I couldn't move. But since there is, I have confidence that he's going to be able to take this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to move north up into Sector 2 to check that place out.
Yeah. Generally, you're never allowed to, your movement ends, or you're not allowed to move out of a tile with a xenomorph dice unless you have either a squad with you or a squad next to you in another tile that's doesn't have a barrier blocking the 2 tiles.
Okay. Makes sense. They wouldn't just let you walk past.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so I have on a hive with 2 aliens, so they're saying hi. On a mission token as well. So I'm going to use Bishop's ability right here, and when I reveal a tile with a mission token, I can deplete Bishop to automatically get that mission.
And basically, we just have to find 9 of those.
And that goes on to
Okay.
our mission. So we have some missions that are out there. So we kind of take a look at to see what mission we want to kind of put this token on at first. I think one of those allows us to fire at 3 additional xenomorphs in our tile.
Mm-hmm.
One of us actually lets us blow up all the barriers on a tile that nobody's in. It's kind of like a time charge. And then that third one, what was that third one?
Burn and clear that's test out new weaponry.
Whenever a squad is attacked, ready a character in the squad, and you may deplete to shoot.
A little preemptive strike right there.
Yeah. Fire before getting.
Yeah. Let's split that on the one where we can hit more xenomorphs.
Because who doesn't want to hit more xenomorphs?
Just in case we get overrun.
Yeah. But we're not.
And so once you get 3 tokens on that card, then the special power is activated.
No, it's activated
whenever
works? You get any tokens on there. It's just whenever you activate that power, Ryan will flip that over, and so you can't use it. But that mission is completed when you get all 3. So you're trying to get all 3 of these completed.
So each mission could only be used 3 times because it can only hold 3 tokens.
Yeah.
All
so that was my move phase with my special ability with Bishop, and so I still have my action phase. So I'm going to use my grunt in the center, deplete him to try to take out those 2 xenomorphs in my spot. All right.
And each of them only have 1 hit point. It's just
correct.
If you hit it, it's gone. Otherwise, in this case, one's attacking back.
Yeah. So he hit me back. 1 survived. So with that, so my guy takes 1 wound. Now, if I get up to 4 wounds on that guy, I'm not dead yet. But the next wound that I would take, I would have to pick one of those wound tiles, flip it over, and there's a 50-50 chance it's going to be blank, or it's going to have a killed in action. So based upon RNG of wounds, you might die right away, or you might be able to take 8 wounds total from a guy. So it's a little bit different right there.
Interesting.
All right,
Yeah,
that
you
is my
never really
turn.
know. Yeah. Generally, the wounds always hit the point man, the poor point guy on your squad who's in front. But if you're shooting at a xenomorphs in the same tile, the wound on a red die roll like that has to go to one of the men one of the characters who shot at the xenomorph.
Right. Makes sense. They're going to attract attention.
Frost, you were up.
Yeah, you don't want to anger him. Okay, I'm up again. So since Bubby's right next to me, I can move into his space if I wanted to. So I'll just do that because we're being cooperative right now. And then I will.
Right now? What do you mean?
Well, we're being yeah, I know you.
Always.
And I will fire my point man grunt, who also has a firepower of 2. And in this case, since I can fire in the same tile that I'm in, and also squads are allowed to fire at an adjacent tile that's not obstructed by a barrier, I can shoot both of those xenomorph dice. But I have to roll the dice that's in my tile first. And I'll show you why. So hopefully he dies. And now if this guy, if the second die roll, I happen to roll one of those red mouth icons, it doesn't hit me because I'm not in the tile with him. But if the xenomorph lives with either a white or a red result, it comes to me. It charges at me.
Luckily,
Okay, makes
you
sense.
destroyed it.
Yeah.
And
So we'll try and it's a pretty simple game, so it doesn't take a lot of explanation to get going.
So let's pretend
okay.
that this card comes out and it goes to 4. It would normally just go up 1, nothing would happen for 3 of those cards, but for sake of demo, we're going to say that it was at 3. We're going to make it up to 4.
Okay, so that would trigger, since you see the little alien silhouette icon, that would trigger the xenomorph phase. Xenomorph phase has 3 simple steps. First of all, attack. If there are any squads with any xenomorph dice in their tile with them at that moment, they all take a wound for each dice on their point man.
Okay.
So that's why point men generally get beat up faster. Then the second one is movement. So all the xenomorph dice will move, and they will, if they're already with a squad, they'll just stay where they are. If they're adjacent to a squad, they'll move into that adjacent squad's tile. And if at the bottom in sector 5, you see they aren't by any squads, they'll move 1 tile closer to the APC board. And if they get there, they escape.
And that's one of the lose conditions in this game, that there's only 30 alien dice in the game. And if you have to put a alien die down and you're unable to because the pool has been depleted, your game is over. And so you're trying to avoid those dice from leaving the complex, going into the APC tile, because now they're removed from the game.
Yes.
Okay.
And also the other thing that triggers is the hive track counter will immediately go up, in this case, from 4 to 5. So it accelerates the xenomorphs even more. Usually that would only happen when they flipped over a card, but because we let guys get away, that's bad. It puts.
So before you flip that, Ryan, before you do that, I need to use Drake's power, because some xenomorphs moved into my tile. So Drake has the power. If anything moves into his tile, he can do it as a free action, deplete him if he's available, and take him out. So he has got a power of 3. So I'm going to see if I can surprise these guys with. Do it. Got all 3?
There you go.
Yeah.
All 3.
All 3. All right.
Piece of
Yeah,
cake.
you're all toast. So that was a great combo. Unfortunately, I'm all depleted, so my options are a little bit limited my next turn, but I think it's well worth it.
I think we should just
We
carry
have
on from Hive Track 5.
Yeah, we have a
demo
few
set.
minutes left. So
Okay.
so let's summarize here. So lose conditions, if you have no dice to put on the board when you have to, you lose. How
Right.
else do you lose?
And there is one other lose condition. If one of your squad is wiped out,
Okay.
since it is a cooperative,
Everybody.
it is a cooperative game. If just one squad has all 3 characters killed, that also forces a loss because all the other squads are now demoralized.
Okay.
And
Makes
to
sense.
win, again, you have to find all the 9 objective tokens and leave through Sector 3 again. So finding them just isn't good enough. You have to get out alive.
Very true.
Okay. And of course, as you go further in, they can be escaping behind you possibly if you're not close to them. And so you got to possibly scatter your forces.
The spawning
around
rules
to do
that we
things.
didn't really get a chance to go into, they tend to spawn behind the characters. So as the squads move out farther into the complex, the xenomorphs are more than likely popping up behind them. So it's a balancing act between finding the objectives, not letting too many xenomorphs escaping, and not letting too many xenomorph dice get between you and the exit. Because that would be bad too.
One of the users in chat viewers in chat mentioned the queen is on the cover. Do you have a queen presence in the game?
The queen presence is only on the Hive Tracker token. So I would encourage everybody to buy this game, not only because it's outstanding and affordable and unique, but if you buy it, we'll have to make an expansion.
We have a really cool idea for a queen in the expansion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have about 3 more minutes. I don't know if you want to jump away from this demo and just talk about other titles that are newly released by Upper Deck and coming in the future. Obviously, you have more titles in Legendary line and the Versus line.
Yeah, so we have one game that we've been demoing over Tabletop Simulator. That's been kind of helping us out a little bit this year. Keepers of the Questar is a new original IP game that we're going to be debuting in the wintertime. It's kind of like a 1 versus 1 dungeon crawl where you play both the dungeon master and as the adventurer. So you can you make your board for your opponent, they make their board for you. You go back and forth with that. So that's going to be a pretty fun game coming out. As far as Legendary goes, we got the new James Bond expansion coming out. We've been demoing that over the last 3 days. That actually came out last Wednesday, so we'll pick that up. We have Into the Cosmos for Marvel, which is going to be coming out, I think on the 19th of August. And so we had the very first look on our stream yesterday. And so today we're doing that again. We're revealing some more characters in our stream for that. So nobody's seen this game before. So come check that out. Versus, where we're going strong with Versus still, we have actually the game designers playing each other today, which would be pretty fun. And the community comes in and talks to us about it. We play through some Versus games as well. So we have a whole bunch of stuff going on. We actually play some of our older games like Dungeon Draft and Dread Draw. We popped them into Tabletop Simulator. We're playing through those. We can't play with each other. Our team can't play with each other at work, in the office, in our R&D room. So we're finding some ways to do it online. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've been doing. What's going on? It's been fun.
And
hey, really
one
quick,
of the things,
Bubby,
of course.
what is the price on Alien? Oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Alien's going to be $39.99 coming out in September of this year.
Okay. I was going to say, one of the things about going to Gen Con each year, of course, is that you have to marvel at the Upper Deck booth because you guys put a lot of effort into it. And this year, we only have to imagine it.
Yeah. Well, just think of it as it gives us a whole nother year to make it twice as good next year.
There you go. No pressure.
Yeah,
that's right. It's pretty amazing each year to marvel at what you do and just how vast it is. So
our events team, our marketing team, they have some crazy ideas. They work with the people on our booth staff and they put together some really cool stuff. Sometimes we don't even know what's going to happen until we get there. It's kind of crazy. Like, we're going to do Predator. We get there, it's this whole camo thing. We got hats and clothes, and it's nuts. But yeah, we missed that this year as well.
Yeah. Well, yes. Hopefully next year things will all go fine. Bobby, Rob, and Ryan, thank you very much for coming on the BGG stream and showing us Aliens Bug Hunt. People can look for it in September 2020 in stores. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the last few hours of the con before we all collapse.